What's poppin', beautiful people, and happy 4th of July to those who celebrate. Welcome into the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. My name is Mrs. Best, or Amina, whatever you guys so choose to call me. But we are here going over Raising Kanan, the recent episode that aired last night, which was titled Power and Rooks. This was season 5, episode 4 of a great final season. I hope that everybody is enjoying their holiday weekend. My little TED Talk, don't drink and drive. Don't do no drugs and drive. Just avoid driving if you can today. Okay? That is the best thing you could do. But I want to also remind people to see the links in the description of this video. There are links to other great creators on these YouTube streets that you guys can support. I love to support anybody Black. Please do. And I do hope that you guys consider liking the video on your way in or out. Shout out to the new subscribers. I thank you personally. It does mean the world. And I also welcome you to the channel. Let's get into Raising Kanan because a lot happened. This episode had me like, ooh, this mother was good. It was a very good episode. I'm thoroughly entertained. I do be wanting to fight Kanan through the screen, but that means they're doing a good job. We start this episode with Taz. That is the dude who was supposed to be Breeze's number 2, like his next in line. But Taz was overlooked for Kanan. And Breeze did not find a kind way of saying that. So Taz has been feeling away. And he pulls up to Kanan's corner in front of all of the corner boys that are unemployed with no job standing outside, making it obvious. But I'm going to digress. Listen, if Mrs. Best was a drug dealer, I'm not standing on no corner and I'm not hiring anybody to stand on a corner. Okay? That is the fastest way to get caught. And if you're not getting caught, it's the fastest way to lose respect in your hood. Because why are you on this corner all day? Go do something. But Taz pulls up to Kanan and with all sorts of an attitude. We ain't safe because of your choice. And Kanan's like, all right, well, I'll wait on Breeze. And this Negro Taz was like, no, you talk when I tell you to talk. Bitch, who is you? Oh, small head having ass Negro. I talk when you tell me to talk, but I'm the one that came in here late and moved up past your position. But I got to talk when you talk. That's fine. That's totally fine. That's totally fine, Taz. He will talk when you tell him to talk. And you still going to be overlooked in a joke. Okay? Oh, can't stand Taz. Now, Kanan let him have his moment. I said, whenever somebody looks at you as you disrespect them quietly, Kanan said. But it was very obvious that Taz was looking for he was looking for a reaction. Sometimes when people are looking for a reaction, I like to give it to them. But 9 times out of 10, if the person is a joke and you don't take them seriously, which it seems like Kanan feels that way towards Taz, then you're just kind of look at them like, okay, anything else? Like, what are we doing? But Taz ends up walking away. It looked like nobody took him seriously. And if a bunch of men that stand outside on a corner for a couple percentages of dollars don't take you seriously, then you're probably not that serious. Now, meanwhile, Uncle Marvin has gone back to the church. I actually thoroughly enjoyed the scenes of Marvin in the church because it kind of shows like Marvin may be leaning and aligning and having more questions about God and faith, which makes sense. A lot of people that be with the shit and in the streets, when they're doing what they're doing, what they're doing for survival. They're not thinking about whether they're going to go to heaven or hell, or, whether they'll be accepted by their higher power, how others may look. They don't think about that. So I thought it was interesting, and I appreciated them incorporating Marvin asking the pastor questions about heaven. And I appreciated the pastor for saying, listen, part of my job is praying for people and helping them to live their life right so that they can get into heaven. But the pastor said, I don't know if you're there. Hell, he won't know till he's in the upper room too. So I definitely enjoyed that. Now we see Rock meet with Joaquin, aka the Puerto Ricans in their area. And not the Puerto Ricans, it's the Dominicans. The Dominicans, she said. My apologies. But she is going to be working with them to help her operation. Rock has a lot going on. And I'm wondering if Kanan's going to catch on to this. Now, Jukebox, that cop that she was paying off, she finally brings him his first payment. And she's thinking she's doing something to get her family protected. But the cop was mad as hell and threatened her life because the envelope was light. He said, "Where's the rest?" She said, "I'm working on it." And he's looking like, dang, I shouldn't have trusted a kid. Duh. But you've been following Juke to know that she's not with the shit and in the family BS. So that should have told you when you're following Juke, if you never see her doing illegal stuff with her family, then maybe she doesn't have access to the money of those illegal activities. But, you know, he gonna be mad and he want to threaten the life of Jukebox. I hope, because those who watch Power Book 1, Power, when we saw and met Kanan's cousin Juke, she was a cop, right? Maybe she became a cop to protect herself from this man because she can't pay him. Maybe. I could be reaching. Let me know how you guys feel. But I'm really interested to see Juke's journey to becoming a police officer. That's all I ever think about. Because I looked at the cop like, you're a freaking idiot. You've been following her and you still expected money? Hello, Mr. Officer. You should have knew better. Rock also ends up meeting with Pino Bernardi, who is the boss, the crime boss of the Manhattan borough. And Pino is happy with Rock's work. He's like, wow, you brought in money. You getting stuff done. But he does tell Rock, he's like, listen, I like you, but I need you to make peace. I need you to make peace with Stefano. And Stefano and Rock they had a good thing going, but I feel like Stefano and Rock both have egos that cause the problem. Stefano and Rock also have in common that neither of them can admit that some of the stuff that happens to them, losing money, people dying, like it's because of their own direct actions. But Bernardi wants Rock to talk to Stefano, and she's willing to do it because that's who she works for. And we will later see that conversation that she has with him. Now, one of the guys who was around on the corner, one of the little corner boys, he is talking to Breeze, and I hollered because he was trying to tell Breeze all this stuff that was happening in the streets. Breeze didn't even look up from what he was doing. He was playing chess, which is why the episode's called Pawns and Rooks. For those who do not know, they are parts. They are pieces in chess. Your rook, your pawn, all of those things. Anywho, he tells Breeze what happened with Kanan, and I like that the dude was like, hey, Kanan, it looked like Taz came in there hoping that Kanan would get upset, hoping to get him up out of his, his character, but Kanan held his own. Breeze said, I'm not talking to the help, and just ignored him, so the dude left. Now, we are going to come back to that because Breeze is aware of what happened. Now, Rock, she meets with Stefano finally to talk. Stefano's upset, and she explains, I'm only here because of Pino. And these two didn't make no type of peace. The problem is Rock is aggressive, like in what she says. She's like, don't ask me nothing about my son and what's going on with that. And listen, Stefano said, who the fuck is she talking to? You. Like, that's the thing with these crime bosses, from The Sopranos to Boardwalk Empire to this show. It seemed like these East Coast crime mob people, your money is here and people could do their job, but they don't got to kiss your ass and lick your holes. Okay. They just don't. So I don't understand. I do understand why Stefano was like, who is she talking to? But then at the same time, the way that Stefano has threatened Rock and all of this, I get Rock. I don't owe you shit. I don't work for you. You kicked me out my own hood. Fuck you. Screw you. Fuck you and your couch. So I kind of understand both sides of it. But I do think, like, Rock, you have to understand, like, you raised a menace who has caused all sorts of issues. Like, but Rock ain't there yet. But they definitely made no peace. The one thing that was good out of the meeting that Raquel had with Stefano was the fact that she now knows that Kanan is working with Breeze. Like, she is for sure about that. And for Raquel, knowing that Kanan works with Breeze means that Kanan is working with Stefano, who is the family's op. The problem is Kanan don't give a fuck about the family. He don't have loyalty to nobody, which we know, and we're seeing that be shaped in real time. Now, in another scene, Breeze is counting money from his corner boys, and he says that Taz came up short and says that Kanan needs to check him. Now, my brain was like, I don't think Taz will come up short. Not when he is so upset that he's not second in line. That means he has been doing his dishonest job honestly. Okay, it doesn't understand why he was passed up. But I was thinking at this point in the episode, because I know how it ends, obviously, but at this point in the episode, I was thinking, Kanan, were you so calm because you found a way to play with Breeze's funds to make him come up short? But we know that that is not what happened. but Kanan was told by Breeze that he's going to have to check Taz. Now, Raquel tells Marvin the drama that's going down with Stefano, and the two of them decide that they're going to have to off Stefano before he can off them. So Marvin is going to be connecting with his people from Memphis. He's got some white boys from Memphis that he's going to be basically hiring to take care of Stefano. While all of this is happening, the last episode ended last week with Kanan being one of the tricks for one of the hoes that's working for Raquel to move her product in Manhattan, one of the people working under Flossie. And he slept with this girl, Tiana, and the pillow talk was pillow talking. It was screaming at us. The pillow talk was hollering in my ear because she told him what she does, the fact that she has a side hustle moving dope, told him about his mom, talking about Raquel and what's going on with that. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, what kind of dumb hoe are you, Tiana? What kind of dumb hoe are you? Or should we say Jarita? Whatever the hell her real name was. Tiana's better. But Tiana basically pillow talked and told everything to Kanan, and Kanan ended up paying her for a couple more hours. So I'm sure he learned the most about what she had going on. But he does take her shopping. She tried to leave because she didn't like the fact that he was like, whatever she want, I'm buying anything. Like, Kanan, I know he's going to make a move against Rock at this point because I'm like, you're talking to this lady about all of the business, but then he's trying to make it seem like he really liked her, but you just can't tell with Kanan. You know, I don't think he has the ability to, like, at this point, love. I feel like the innocence is definitely gone. It's definitely gone. Now, Marvin meets with his people from Memphis and they lurk on Stefano. We will come back to them. Raquel ends up going to see Breeze in the middle of the night. And Breeze explained that women move different in the streets. They kind of had like a tug of war back and forth with words. And she did checkmate him because he was like, niggas, all they care about is bitches and money. And Rock said, well, all I care about is money. So watch yourself. And I was wondering why Breeze would agree to meet with Rock because it's not like him. And then to let her talk without threatening her. I was like, what is the connection here? Because he's being mad respectful. But Rock, even though you got him in that conversation, you showed your cards already. You should have never went to him talking about you're always going to look out for your son and stuff because you're talking about you only care about money, but you obviously care about your brother, your son. You care about more than money because if it was really about the money, Kanan would be dead. That's just my opinion. Kanan would not be alive if it was only for the money. He's been caught in so much that he's done being mad at his mama, throwing a whole bitch fit, which is really what's raising Kanan. He's throwing a fit, you know, but I digress. Now, Kanan's crew kidnaps a melanin redacted hoe that is working for Flossie and helping to move product. And, you know, he sends her to her next client, which is like a rich guy who happens to be a federal judge. They are doing the powder because that is what they love and that's what they're enjoying. And this was very reminiscent too of New York during that time, really America during that time. The Scarface and the crack was everywhere. I believe like the timeline this is filmed is during part of that epidemic. So melanin redacted hoe gives rich judge the powder. He says, before I have sex with you, I'm going to do this and it's going to be the time of our life. He started bleeding and died. So melanin redacted hoe ran up out of there. She was real scared. And I'm just like, this is going to mess up Rock's business. Kanan tells the girl to tell Rock that this was Kanan, which I thought was dumb. I think sometimes an element of surprise is important, but Kanan just wants to see his mom suffer, which is crazy because, nigga, you wouldn't have breath or life if not for her, but what can we do? Later on, after all of that happens, melanin redacted hoe is scared. Okay, she is clutching all of her pearls. And she told Rock what happened. And Rock told her, make sure Flossie don't know, because if Flossie finds out, I'm going to kill your ass. Rock says you could tell her everything, but do not mention Kanan whatsoever. Hot Mess Express. Hot Mess Express. I do think it is smart, but I also feel like this is one of the areas where Raquel lacks. Like, you have so much family drama going on that it's impacting your business, which impacts other people's business, the streets, safety, all of these things. So it's not a good look that when Flossie finally makes the decision to work with some people in another, way that somebody has popped up unalive. Like, that is not a good thing. Now, Jukebox is in too deep with this cop. She done promised him that she'll make monthly payments to him monthly. The problem is that Juke went to Marvin expecting to get help with him from him. And it's funny how she tries to make herself feel confident and like she's right. So, I was talking to this cop to handle for the family. And Marvin said, I'm dealing with enough police. Like, why wouldn't you talk to us about it? And my husband pointed out that this was a good life lesson. Mama and daddy aren't always going to be there to save you. Because Marvin said to Juke he's not going to help her. Pretty much, you got yourself in this mess. Get yourself out of it. Nobody asked you to go and deal with police. You don't know what's going on. You just been floating around, went to the army, all this stuff. You don't know. Now, I respect Juke for caring about her family enough to try and do something, but Juke and Kanan are so off and just not making the right decisions. I mean, Kanan still thinks that his mother killed Famous. That did not happen. Somebody else did. Like, there's a lot that's going on, but we will see. The big, large, melanin redacted man from Memphis killed all of his ops. Or not his ops, but he unalived the people that were supposed to be there with him to take out Stefano. And I'm like, okay, so Marvin's people are compromised, but the big white dude was not very smart to off his people he can trust, because why wouldn't they off you as well? Why would they just let you go back and get on a plane to Memphis? So they offed him as well. Stefano knew that Rock would come for him based on the shit that he talked to her, and you could tell that he was prepared. Because I kind of felt like it was a setup, because they were like, we're at his house. I only see one security, not too much security. You're not meant to see the security that's there all the time, in my opinion. If someone's pulling up to my house, I want it to look like I have light security so that they can light your ass up. Okay? That's what I would want to happen. Now, Kanan and Taz talking shit to each other. And Kanan closed the door, popped him in his kneecap so he could feel it, watched him squirm around like a fish out of water, and then finally decided to kill him. It was the fact that he popped him in the knee first. And I was not mad at it. I said, what's wrong with my brain? Am I empathetic still? Because I was laughing. That's what your ass get. You beat up that innocent melanin redacted boy that you was doing the drop for, all because of your ego. You had everything to say to Kanan. It's not Kanan's fault he got chosen. Where was the smoke towards Breeze, you scary bitch? Like, I'm not mad at Taz being gone. Because I'm like, you should have really got a Taz, not Kanan. But okay, what can we do? But Taz is gone. Rock, Marvin, and Flossie, as well as our melanin redacted hoe, they discussed the federal judge that was unalived by Kanan. And, I seen in this show, I said Flossie is good to her hoes. She understands and appreciates the work that they do and the work that they put in with their coochies and their mouths and whatever other holes they use, okay? And Flossie was really checking on the girl. She said, are you okay? I want you to go home. Take a few weeks off. Yeah. Oh, she was so concerned. She looked at Rock and was like, she's going to have a hard time. She's going to have a good time. And Rock looked at her and she was like, what's up? You want us to take care of that? You want us to unalive her? This is why I love Raquel on Raising Kanan, because from episode 1 to today, okay, she don't got time for the small talk, the shenanigans. Oh, you worried about that bitch? You think she's gonna tell? Let me get rid of her for you. We got this. And Flossie gave this whole speech on her father taught her that, yes, sometimes you do have to unalive people, but when you do, it should matter. I said, no, it should matter. Like, there needs to be a reason behind it that makes sense. You need to be protecting yourself or your family. We shouldn't just be offing people to off people. Isn't the whole potentially telling police a reason that matters in terms of her not being here, because she could come and bring down your house, Rock's house, Kanan's house, anyone involved's house could get brought down. But, Flossie, she let her have her melanin redacted tears, okay? Let her have them. Now, Marvin and Rock have a moment that really wasn't pivotal to the show, but I enjoyed it because it's why I love Marvin's character. Marvin reminded Rock, we ain't got nobody but each other right now because Kanan ain't fucking with us, right? Lou is gone. R.I.P. Lou. R.I.P. to you. But Lou is gone. Marvin explained he's loyal, but sometimes I do feel like Rock mistakes Marvin's loyalty for like him being a subordinate and doing as he's told. He just said, I'm loyal, but baby, you are my little sister. You don't run me, and I don't work for you. I'm working with you by choice out of loyalty. I said, okay, Marvin, let her know. Because sometimes I do feel like Rock needs to hear like certain things, because she kind of goes beyond. And that's probably where Kanan gets it from. Like, he is his mama, just with the man part at this point. Later on in the episode, where things get really, really interesting, is Breeze is teaching Kanan how to chop up a body. We were watching Dexter. I do enjoy Dexter. And when the next season of Dexter comes back, I am considering reviewing it. I do love Dexter. There's a Dexter Resurrection, I believe it's called. Anywho, but I felt like I was watching an episode of Dexter, the blood spatter guy. Shout out to Showtime. Because he's just teaching him to chop up a body like it's nothing. And they discussed the meeting that Breeze had with Raquel, Kanan's mom, and Kanan is confused on the fact that they met up. And Breeze explains that he's not even mad about anything, like not with Kanan's mom coming and talking to him. Breeze is like, I'm not even upset about what happened with Taz. But he asked Kanan, he was like, why you can't rely on me to let me know what happened? Honestly, I was like, why would he do that? Like, y'all in the streets, like, that could be a show of weakness, which is problematic in the streets. And, you know, I was like, why is Breeze showing empathy when Kanan was like, this is the most ruthless nigga he knows, when Breeze was introduced to us? And it comes out that Breeze is the blood son of DEFCON. Now, for those who have watched since season 1, you know that Kanan is supposed to be the child of DEFCON, which was a guy that Rock was with in Queens, who was with the shit in the streets and known to be a legend. We know from back when old boy was still, is it Omar Epps? Is that his name? I can't remember the name of the actor. But Kanan's dad, who used to work for the cops, that was his actual dad. Raquel kept it a secret that Kanan was not DEFCON's kid, obviously for safety reasons. Kanan's the child of a cop, which makes it all funny. But Kanan is aware of that. Breeze is not aware of that. So when that came out, I said, I thought that's where the episode would end. It did not. I said, oh shit. How many of you were surprised to find out that Breeze was DEFCON's son? I was surprised, but I also kind of suspected that Breeze was the child of somebody connected to Kanan or Rock, just because of how militant he was and how quick he was to warm up to Kanan compared to how he warmed up to other people. But, you know, Breeze lets him know, nigga, we blood, we family. That means that Kanan should be protected. However, with Kanan, I'm like, he's smart to not expose the lie, but I know he's probably like, oh my God, it's not just me, because that's kind of what made Kanan special in the streets. If I was Kanan, I don't know if anybody else asked this question watching, I would wonder, if you're DEFCON's son, why wouldn't you make that known in the streets to gain your respect instead of going about it, keeping it a secret to whose child that you were? I would watch out for that, because that's still something that didn't settle with me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's only episode 4, so I'll find out at a later time. But let me know how you guys felt about finding that out, because I'm like, that explains why Breeze was so likely and willing to like move Kanan up and all of this stuff. That explains it. And maybe if Taz wasn't such a sensitive little bitch on his menstrual period, he would be able to figure out that, like, if he talked to him, maybe he'd be able to figure it out. I don't know. Now, the episode ends in the club of Juke and Rock and Marvin. Jukebox is like, this white boy been waiting here for hours. We checked him and everything. He says he has something and he can only hand this package to you. So the package gets handed to Marvin. White boy gets out of there, don't want to answer no questions. And it is the hat of the large melanin redacted gentleman that was also not loyal at all. It was his hat, proving that he is unalive. This was a sign that Stefano sent to Rock and Marvin. And pretty much Marvin's like, we in trouble. But I took it as Stefano's declaring war against you. He knows you made a move against him. He's prepared. Stop that move, and now you're in some shit. The episode ends from there. Raising Kanan, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Y'all are doing a very, very good job. Y'all are doing a good job with this show. I do enjoy it. Power Book Origins will be coming. There's another Power Book as well that's going to be with Tommy and Tariq. I am excited for that. We'll be covering and watching all of it. That's all I have today for Raising Kanan. Great episode. I'm like, Breeze being related to Kanan, but not really related. I'm curious how that's going to go. But I hope everybody enjoys their holiday weekend. If you are no longer watching when it's not the 4th of July, I still hope you enjoy your day. And I really appreciate you for taking the time to listen to my little rants and opinions. Other than that, love and light to everybody. As I always say, thug life till it's backwards. And I will see y'all in the next review. Adios.